Nice, three, squad!
Hi there, welcome to Long Distance Review, and on this week's episode I'm going to look at the new album from Boston Manor entitled Glue. Boston Manor are a UK based pop punk band and they were formed back in 2013. I think pop punk is a easy label to throw at them, but I certainly don't think that that's their genre they sit in at all. It shouldn't define them as a band, but I think I'll come more onto that later when I'm talking about the album. They had a few EPs out after they formed in 2013, but the first full-length album came out in 2016, entitled Be Nothing, and that was much more of a straight-up pop-punk affair. But it was by the time they released their second album, entitled Welcome to the Neighbourhood in 2018, they'd certainly diversed and evolved as a band into a band that incorporates much more synth and soundscape, darker tones into their rock songs. And they have a range from these brutal, aggressive punk rock songs to the much more softer and delicate songs. So to lump them in as a pop punk band isn't really fair anymore. Off the back of that album as well, in 2018, Welcome to the Neighbourhood, they were nominated for Best Breakthrough Band at the Kerrang Awards in the UK. And so it feels like now this album has quite a bit riding on it. I think there was a lot of hype. I don't think hype's the right word, but they've been billed as quite a promising young band, let's say. So I feel like their next step could be a very important one. This step. So let's take a look at the album there. The album is entitled Glue, and it was released today, in May the 1st, 2020. Like most punk albums, the opening tracks come out swinging pretty hard. You've got the opening track of Everything Is Ordinary, which what struck me first on that track actually is the production. It's a much more fuzzed up, glitched up affair than they've ever done before. There's a theme. I think that song kind of sets the tone for the album thematically quite well. There's a lot of talk of frustration, ambivalence at the world around us, ignorance of what's going on in the world around us. And I think that sort of thematically sets up the album very, very well. It doesn't sound like the early days of Boston Manor. It does incorporate synths and auto-tune on the vocals in the chorus. Don't balk at that. I think it's done very well. I think it's layered on top of Henry Cox's very good range of vocals, and it works very, very well. This is followed up by the song Ones and Zeros, which again is another aggressive punk rock song. It has this driving rhythm and sort of beating bass line that works very well. So straight away, it's aggressive and it's immediate.
Everything is ordinary now. Everything is ordinary now. Spill my guts, but I don't wanna ruin this company.
But it's the diversity and depth of this band's oeuvre which is the most impressive thing to me on here. There's elements of 90s grunge on the more dirgy sounding Plasticine Dreams, which, although it is a bit dirgy, retains this very modern sense of frustration well. There's elements of industrial notes on this very catchy song called Only One, which has a chorus that reminds me a little bit of a Marilyn Manson hook. And then you get this more pop soul song like The Beautiful Terrible Love. So I think to put them in with the pop punk bands is very unfair. To me, this album is more reminiscent of, say, bands like Thrice, or a band that we all used to love but aren't allowed to talk about anymore due to circumstances around them, let's say, a band called Brand New. think that's where this band sit nowadays. The whole record has a very overarching theme of frustration all over it, not only at the world around us and society and culture, but I think Henry Cox certainly looks inwardly at himself and examines the frustrations of his own misgivings and his own faults and frailties as a person. He doesn't really pull any punches on any of the songs as well. He openly examines the toxic masculinity in society, the thought of you should just man up and not show any emotions, and how this can lead to a very dark territory for somebody. Boston Manor have also expertly paced this album. They've mixed very fast songs, very slow songs, which isn't anything new that any rock band hasn't done before, but to do it with this degree of skill across the album isn't easy, I don't think. Also, adding synths and other elements onto songs like they have on this album is something that can easily backfire. You only need to look at the last Blink-182 album, which, although at the time I was quite positive about, I think looking back, it wasn't a great album, and it felt like they shoehorned synths in just to have a modern sound, whereas Boston Manor do it the right way. They put synths on songs and soundscapes on songs, but give the song an atmosphere and give the song space to breathe and give it a feeling, which is exactly what they're going for. I think that's done very, very well. I think my favourite song on the album is a song called You, Me and the Class War, which sort of showcases the entire range of the band on one song. You have these aggressive vocals, and which switches to these much more delicate elements, and then has these multi-layered vocal hooks in the middle. I think it's brilliant, really catchy, but really impressive what they've done over one song. In fact, the craft throughout this album is very impressive. It feels like every single song has been given a lot of thought, and it's been thought long and hard about that song. Each song's given its own space on the album perfectly. It doesn't feel like there's any filler. We'll just put this song in here because it sort of sounds like it should go there. It feels like it's been thought about very, very well. I'm not saying every song is a killer song on there. There's more poppier songs, like a song called Brand New Kids, which isn't exactly to my taste completely, but I feel like it fit very well after the more downbeaten but absolutely fantastic song called Playing God. The album is packed full of hooks though, and every song is built for the live stage in one way or another. You've got either the bouncy pop punk chorus hooks or the raging post-hardcore elements, but you've also got these mournful ballads that could be sung back at them from people in the crowd, and it feels like every song could fit in the live environment one way or another. You've got a beautiful song near the end as well, which is like I said, a piano-led ballad. It's a song called Stuck in the Mud, and I feel that's an absolutely stunning track. Closing song Monolith kind of sums up the album perfectly. You've had this sense of frustration building across the album and anger building across the album, and Monolith leaves the listener with no confusion about what the band's sentiments are, with Cox spewing his most post-hardcore vocals all over it, and then it mixes up into this 80s synth pop verse almost, and then this rallying cry of hey you, fuck you too, I'll do what I want when I want to, which, although can sound a little bit amateurish, feels like a bit of a catharsis after the album. It feels like a bit of an explosion at the end of it, we've got all this frustration and come on, let's do this. Boston Manor have evolved brilliantly over 3 albums, but they've evolved incredibly quickly over 3 albums, which is the most impressive thing, from a very sort of standard pop-punk debut in 2016 in 4 years' time to what they're doing on this album is very, very impressive. It's the depth and craft and diversity they show on this album that's the most impressive to me. I think this album is fantastic and it's the best thing Boston Manor have done. I'm looking forward to going back to this album a lot during this year, because I think that this is going to sit very highly at the end of the year in terms of albums of the year. Let me know what you think of the Boston Manor album, and I'll see you again soon, and thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Thanks.